All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. And my name is Judson Powell. All right. All right. Anyway, got a couple of things to talk about today. The first thing up on the agenda is something that I was talking about at home earlier tonight. And I was trying not to talk about this, but I am. Anyway, toxic masculinity, right? Toxic masculinity, as well as all the other things that they're pushing at men, or anything that you do as a man, you're kind of being shoved into that little category. But here's the thing: you are a man, and what they're not addressing here is on the flip side, because everything to everything, there's what? There's an opposite or equal to whatever that is. So then what is that? That's the law of polarity. So when we look at things and we start saying, you can't do that. You can't do that, because there are feminine, whatever, I don't know, coin a new phrase, but there are women that take femininity all the way to certain levels as well. So it's not, I wouldn't say, it's just not prudent to say it like that, to toxic masculinity for everything, because that's not really true. It's just that some things are kind of, you would call like instinctual, and some things are genetics and heredity, all of that kind of stuff, or, environmental circumstances and things like that. And I think that that's the biggest thing is like environmental circumstances going on in everybody's house. But just because, a man, he asserts his prowess and his power or whatever, does not mean that he's always, always like that. I know for me as one, I used to be like that, but then I changed, and so now everything, in fact, my children will be like, "Oh, you so soft now, you don't do nothing, man, when we was coming up, you used to do X, Y, Z, you do da-da-da-da-da," and I would be like, yeah, but through trial and error and through time, because let's face it, there's no guidebook for running a family or for marriage or for anything. That's why it's difficult. And that's why it takes a lot of time and patience. And that's also, probably why there is there's like a learning curve when it comes to all of that stuff. And I know even with my wife now, it took us a while, and we're still not 100, but, and I don't think anybody gets 100, because I was just telling it, even about my illnesses and stuff like that. And I was just like, you know what? It's like, I'm never going to be 100, but there's certain things that always make me happy, and when I get those things that make me happy or whatever, then it's a lot easier going through certain other aspects of what I'm going through, right? Or what I've been through, put it that way. And so I look at that as, I look at that as the whole fear of a black planet, because if black folks and brown folks all got together and voted the same way, which is basically what the Rainbow Coalition, Jesse Jackson theory was, like, look, if we all get together, they can't do that. And I think now is the time for that. It's like there's nothing else they can do. What can they do? But, but start a war, or do something heinous, or there's nothing else they can do. And if you allow the same people to stay in power that are in power right now, we know what's going to happen. They already took away abortion, right? And so the next thing is whatever is on their agenda to take away, because they're about making this theocracy in all people and all things have to follow the conservative Christian path, right? And everybody just ain't a conservative Christian. And the other thing is, that's not how the Constitution was written. The Constitution is written so that everybody has freedom of religion and freedom of speech and all those good things. So we'll, you know, only thing we can do is put it out there and then see what happens. All right, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is consciousness, and because I've been looking up a lot of stuff, and so I've been having like a lot of dreams. My wife's been having a lot of dreams, but I've been having a lot too. Just haven't been putting them out there or whatever. But I think at this particular point, and I think about some of the people that I you know, used to learn from. And some of those master teachers, they were great people. I don't want to put their names out there, but they were great people. And so a lot of the things that they said, like, are coming to pass, like right now, like with all these crazy, weird, strange things going on in the earth, even down to the fact of like even the crime and the criminals and all that stuff is like strange. It's not like the, you know, everything is not like the usual, you know, the usual stuff that used to happen back, you know, back years ago or whatever. But it seems like the further along that we get in this continuum that we're in, it just seems like the stuff gets weirder and weirder, right? And even with the pandemic and all of that, there's things that keep on going and keep on happening, and we're like just like mass shootings. Like we didn't really have that, you know, that wasn't like a component of life. Like, you know, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, that just wasn't, you know, there were people, you know, don't get me wrong, there were people being murdered on the streets, but it's just nothing like it is now. You can't go anywhere, you know, church, supermarket, movies, you know, school, all of those things. So those are like bastions of the American culture and our society. But it seems like every place that those things are going on, it seems like each one of them has been at one particular point shot up, or, you know, or even worse, you know, because a lot of times we're looking at most of the victims are children, which is sick. You know, that's like a sick thing. And then, but then I think what's even sicker is like the people that have survived want to continue in a pattern of not doing anything about this stuff when it comes down to gun control or anything like that. And so that's why I want to say, like, consciousness, what is the collective consciousness of America if we keep allowing all this, you know, we got the president starting an insurrection and you know, and I mean, it's like, it's weird stuff going on. You know, it's like, and I've been alive for a little while, and I'm just saying, even to me, it's like, it's weird stuff. So anyway, so some of those teachers, they used to always tell us, you know, let me get back to the story. So they used to always tell us, like, okay, like, things will be happening, so you have to kind of like guide through the matrix, you know. So, you know, because everybody knows about the matrix, so it's kind of, that's how life is, or that's how life in the universe is. All right, and so at times, because all of this stuff is spiritual, and here's a good example. Like when I used to be in radio, when I was learning, we used to have a third class radio telephone operator's license, right? In order to be on the radio. Like, you couldn't even be a disc jockey unless you had that. So we had to get that. But part of the thing was talking about radio waves and how you would superimpose the audio wave upon the wave that's just carrying this signal. And if you could look out, like if you could put all of these signals, every radio signal that's being, you know, sent out right now, you couldn't even see in front of your face. And so that used to always, so you mean we got this many radio signals, and if they were like right in front of us, and so that's how spirituality is. You have, and remember, so we're manifestors, so people are trying to manifest all kinds of stuff, and there's millions of manifestations taking place, and millions of instances of karma, both positive and negative, taking place. You got all of this stuff taking place. And so what happens is everything sometimes collides, because you have all of these parallel universes, you know, existing together. And like and once again, I'll explain it to you like I explained to my son. It's like when you're going, if you're in the car, you think of every single other car, every single other vehicle that's out there. And in fact, they really are. They're a parallel universe. And there's something going on in that car or in that area that you have no idea what's going on. And they don't know what's going on in your car. Because if we were having a conversation, they wouldn't know what our conversation was. Same thing. So it's the same exact, thing happening. And that's what, but every now and then, one of those cars will go off to the side and they'll hit your car, right? And what does that do? That use one of my favorites. That discombobulates your car, right? It makes your damn auto insurance go up, right? So that's what's happening. So it's the same thing. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid these parallel universe collisions. But a lot of times, adverse conditions and stuff like that, that's what they are. And I remember one of our teachers used to always say, he would say, look, most of the people that die are just dumb because they're not paying attention to the details. Because they're not paying attention, and they know that they should. And see, that's the other thing. It's not that they don't know that they should, It's that they just don't. They know, but they don't pay attention. And I say, or my favorite one, which I was talking about with my sister the other day, is one of my favorite ones. And I would say, look, you have not been around Saturn, not even once. Because it takes, 29.5 years to go all the way around Saturn. So until you're 29.5, that's why we tell guys, don't get married until, and I know I made that mistake, but I didn't know because nobody ever told me. But I'm telling y'all so that y'all could tell other people, right? Because my people perish for a lack of knowledge for sure. But I'm telling y'all now, you have not, until you made 30 years on the planet, especially for men, because they're the ones that are charged with taking care of all this stuff. No matter what y'all say about them, no what y'all talk about, but the way our laws and rules and regulations are all set up, that's the dude that's going to end up holding the bag or replenishing the bag on a year-to-year basis, whatever have you. So, and don't I know that too? So that's why I'm trying to tell y'all, look, so you haven't even been, so just float through this stuff. And right now, you can tell the earth is moaning and groaning. It's like, we got volcanoes erupted. We got animal species that haven't been to the edge of the ocean in hundreds of years and stuff like that, and species coming out that we've never seen before, and all kind of stuff is going on. And that is because there is a spiritual shift changing. There is a spiritual shift changing things in the earth realm. And so when that realm is changing, it's just like anything else in the spiritual realm. If everything changes in the spiritual realm, things are going to change. So everything changes. So right now, the spiritual realm of the earth is changing. Because how do you think those animals know what to do? Or you see all these, pictures on the thing, and it's just like there's a 100-pound German Shepherd sitting up there playing with a duck. Really? Okay. I just hope that nothing happens, but and I guess I'm being mean for saying that'll happen. And anyway, but I'm grateful. And that's the other thing. And then this year, Happy New Year to everybody. And we were even talking about that because the real New Year is on the 21st of September, which is what Earth, Wind, and Fire wrote about. That's what that song was about, September. Anyway, go back, listen to it. All right, Fast 15 minutes is up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Tell some other people to come watch. Cause they be dogging me all the time. I don't know. I think they kidnapped my view. Anyway, hit the love button. I love y'all, man.